itself with this brand new tradecraft, geospatial intelligence.
You hear the folklore, I guess, of the founders.
A bunch of very smart people got together and said, let's have a meeting.
To have an event, to pull like-minded people together.
Industry, academia, along with military folks, and talk about what this new thing was.
It's a little conference called GeoIntel in New Orleans.
And they really thought they were going to have a few hundred people, and I think they had over 1,000.
We legitimately expected around 200 to 250 people. We had 1,218 that actually registered. So the night before the event, we had no place for these people to sit. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning, and we were literally unfolding the folding chairs and putting out as many hundreds and hundreds of folding chairs as we could in a very long room.
So I go to New Orleans and I'm asked to participate in a panel, and now we're sitting on a stage, which none of us had ever done. So there's some anxiety, of course, because we're just not used to having these conversations in the open. It immediately hit me, the value.
They discovered the potential.
And we're like, wow, there's really interest to create something here.
To me, it was a light bulb moment.
It was more than a success. Such a success that those very smart people got together in 2004 and formed what we now know as USGIF, the United States Geospatial-Intelligence Foundation.
It was a community without organization, and the foundation helped organize this community.
They were going to undertake and take on this responsibility to create this GeoInt workforce, this GeoInt pipeline to serve this new discipline.
Hi, welcome back to the Leading Women series. Today, I am delighted to speak with Ronda Schrenk, CEO of the US Geospatial-Intelligence Foundation. Hello, Ronda.
Hi, Deborah. Thank you so much for inviting me to come and talk with you. I'm very excited.
Thank you for joining us. The first thing I wanted to ask you was how you explain geospatial intelligence to people. I mentioned in an email, when I tell my friends that I'm going to a conference on it, they have no idea what that means.
Well, it's been around for just a little over 20 years. And really, when you spell it out, geospatial intelligence, it can sound a little daunting for the untrained ear. So I would say it's about the power of harnessing location-based data. And most of us understand location-based data. When we get into our cars and we drive and we have our GPS helping us to navigate the roads and understand real-time data. So GeoInt is about using location-based data to understand and address complex challenges. It's about understanding the world around us, including all that happens on, above, or below the Earth's surface, and then working to make sense of that data. So an example is beyond the car GPS, it's like having a map that shows not only where things are, but it also helps to provide insights into what's happening there, whether for national security, disaster response, urban planning, or say business optimization.
Great. What should people know about USGIF?
Best place to work on the planet. Can we start there? We are a 501c3 nonprofit educational foundation. We stood up 20 years ago with the term geospatial intelligence. So I would say in a nutshell that we are a dynamic organization and we serve as a unifying force in the geospatial community. We have over 300 organizational members and thousands of individual members spanning government, industry, academia from around the world. We foster collaboration. And for me, that's the big word. It's collaboration in order to spur innovation and education around the GeoInt tradecraft. We are a connector. We bring together people to collaborate, to work together, and to solve some of today's hardest problems.
I understand there's also a very robust scholarship program. Why is that important for USGIF?
Oh, well, thank you for asking that. That is one of my most favorite things that we do at USGIF. We have a robust scholarship program that goes from undergraduate all the way up to PhD. This year in 2024, we awarded $145,000 worth of scholarships, all the way from a $500 award up to a $15,000 reward. Uh, Award, not reward, but I guess it could be a reward for studying what I think is one of the most important fields. And we provide those scholarships to students that are studying or aspire to study geospatial and geospatial related fields, because that's a really broad field. Um, and what we're doing is we're providing a pathway, an encouragement to build the capabilities in our community to help fuel the knowledge and the pipeline in support of national security and those adjacent missions.
Right. Before taking the reins of USGIF, you spent nearly 22 years working for the National Geospatial-Intelligence Agency. What are some highlights of your work there?
Yeah, that was a really fun time in my life. I grew up here, well, here where I am today in Maryland, and the NSA is the big agency in Maryland that a lot of people know about, the National Security Agency, and I thought that's what I was going to do. Luckily, while I was in school and I had a part-time job bartending, I met some people that were imagery analysts. And back in the day, a couple of short decades or three ago, we didn't talk about what we did. So, some of the highlights that I had included spearheading critical intelligence operations, advancing technological innovations, and fostering international partnerships to help strengthen global security efforts. Now, of course, the definition, the details on that are classified and will stay classified. And as we look at NGA and what NGA was 20 years ago, and before that, NEMA, before that, NPIC, there are still those classified missions, and by and large, we see NGA and geospatial intelligence evolving to be a team sport, including government, industry, and academia. So I had a lot of best jobs, and I'm very proud of the time that I got to spend at NGA.
In your career, have you seen the geospatial intelligence sector expand to include women and people of color?
Oh my goodness, a lot. When I began, 1996, when I started my government career, I was one of only a handful of women in a really homogenous workforce. We talked a little bit about this earlier, where diversity for the by and large workforce of white men was if one of them didn't wear a white shirt that day, they wore white shirts and dark suits. Um, didn't mean that it wasn't unwelcoming. It meant that I was one of few. And when we talk about diversity, it's not just for me about representation. It's about harnessing diverse perspectives to drive innovation. It's about avoiding groupthink, right? Like having those different perspectives. And the purpose is to ensure that the solutions that we're coming up with as a workforce are meeting the needs of our globalized world. Um, from my perspective, and as I've watched it change, diversity fuels innovation. And you bring fresh insights, I bring fresh insights. Oh my goodness, the group that are coming behind us wow, they knock my socks off. And we look at diversity of gender, of background, of geography, of school, of all kinds of things, of culture, to help us get even better at tackling the complexities of today's world.
I, that reminds me, you in a Virginia Business article, you said earlier in your career, the primary thing holding you back was yourself. What did you mean by that?
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. And I was worried when I answered it that way. I think I said, when they said, what are some of the things that were holding you back? I said, me, and me. Um, I came up with a lot of self-doubt. I found myself preparing the answers to things and handing them off, um, avoiding the risk of putting myself out there. I didn't want to seem not smart enough. I didn't want to be seen as silly or not worthy or not valid. When job announcements would come out and I would look at the 10 criteria that were required, if I only had 6 of them, there was no way that I was going to apply for that job. And then I would be irritated when my colleague that was a male got the job. And I felt like I was more qualified than him. That's not on him. That wasn't on the selection team. That was on me. So I have learned to create a professional network. And I'm still working on that. And when I say a professional network, I mean a nurturing network and a solution oriented network with positive vibes, as opposed to a group by the water cooler, the hypothetical water cooler that's just going to complain about what's not going well, to work together to identify solutions, healthy solutions, progress. And Deborah, as you and I talked a little bit about, there were definitely other obstacles. The ones I want to talk about are those ones that I can control within me. And then being mindful to that next generation that's coming along to help them with the unwritten rules, the secret handshakes that I wish someone would have helped me with. And then to not only give them a boost to bring them to where I am, but to push up and beyond and enable everyone to reach their full capacity.
That's a very thoughtful response. What advice do you give people? I usually think about women, but anyone entering the geospatial sector or interested in it.
Yeah. I would say embrace challenge, right? Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. I've already talked a little bit about the network. Um, Look for mentors. Be a mentor. I've found that by being a mentor, I feel like I have to like prepare for it, and then I learn, right? It's a two-way exchange of information. Um, in my career, I have had so many best jobs. I One of my best jobs was getting to be the assistant to then NEMA NGA director Jim Clapper, General Clapper. I still call him that. And when my boss told me that I was being asked to be direct assigned into that role, I had water in my eyes. I loved the position that I had. And wondered, I wondered aloud, are you mad at me? Did I do something wrong? And they said, well, no, this is a great opportunity for you. It's like, I have no idea how to do that. That's scary. That's in another building. That's with people I don't even know. And I said, I asked, am I allowed to say no? And they said, you can, but we don't recommend it. Um, so then that next job was my next favorite job. And since then, I've had a line of them that I work hard. I try to stay up on technical skills, mind my network to where I am today. So I am currently sitting as the CEO of USGIF in my most favorite job. They just keep coming.
That's great. You've covered my questions. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Yeah. So the world keeps changing and it's happening faster and faster and faster. It's a rapidly evolving technological landscape. Um, Collaboration, and I think I've gone there a few times today. Collaboration, especially through what I call the great triumvirate, which is industry, government, and academia. The collaboration between that great triumvirate is more important today than ever before. Our world and our adversaries are continually changing at a faster and faster rate. And as threats to national security evolve, so too must our approach to geospatial intelligence. Imagine a future where satellite technologies and AI-driven analytics enable proactive defense strategies and rapid response capabilities. USGIF remains committed to advancing geospatial intelligence excellence and driving innovation that benefits our world today and tomorrow. And Debra, I hope that we see you every year at the GeoInt Symposium, where it's the largest gathering of geospatial intelligence professionals from college to senior, tenured.
Yes, I wouldn't miss it. I think it's a great show. We hear from people who don't often speak out. So I think my readers need to hear whatever they can say about what they are doing and what they need.
Awesome. Thank you.
So great. Thank you so much for speaking with us today.
Thank you for having me.